And welcome in. Good evening, Eagle fans. Welcome into another edition of The Nest here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio and the East Forsyth Sports Network. Voice of the Eagles, Desmond Johnson here in the house with the head coach of the men's basketball team over at East Forsyth, Joe Coulter, and special guest, junior AJ Wesley in the house. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Pretty good. We didn't get a chance to put one in last week because you guys had some extra games you had to make up and do and whatnot. So we had to skip to this week, of course. The Nest East Forsyth basketball is brought to you by Game On Sports Pub in Kernersville. Go check them out. I know the Super Bowl is coming up here in 2 weeks, so that might be the spot you want to be at over at 727 East Mountain Street in Kernersville. Tell Joe Campbell and the folks that we sent you over there, and I'm sure they will treat you right. Great drink specials, great food specials weekly, and it changes every week. So go follow them on Facebook and get the menu for what they got going on. Saw Joe was in the kitchen making sausage, biscuits, and gravy or something yesterday, and they had that out there for sale. So go check them out over at Game On Sports Pub in Kernersville. The East Forsyth Eagles, wacky week because we're all sitting at home because of the ice storm that came through over the weekend. So it's changed some things a bit. We're taping this on a Tuesday where we would have normally been playing West Forsyth, and that game got rescheduled to Thursday at 8 o'clock at West Forsyth. And I'm about to go out and do a road run in a little bit, just to kind of check the roads around me outside of my house. I don't think that's looking good. So you had West Forsyth scheduled for Thursday and then a home game versus Parkland this Friday. I don't know if we're going to make it to that, to be honest. More snow is supposed to be coming in on Friday. So it's a good place to kind of stop and gauge the season so far. Coach, let's start off with you. Over the past couple of games, you told me it's been up and down for you and the Eagles here. You lost to Reagan your last time out, 54-42 at home, but defeated Harding 57-54 before that. So you've gone 2-2 over your past four with a win over RJ Reynolds, a win over Harding, a loss to Northwest Guilford, and a loss to Reagan. Tell me how you're feeling with the team right now. I know you're still messing with rotations and things of that sort as we get deeper into conference play.
We had a really close game against Northwest. Could have gone either way. They played a little better than we did last 2 minutes of the game, and they got the win. Then we played Harding University High School from Charlotte, at Reedsville, and they're tough. They're a tough team. They trap you all over the place, and we handled it really well. AJ had a heck of a game. His stats were unbelievable. And then we played Reagan the other night. We just came out kind of flat. We had a great practice the day before. And we won 3 out of the 4 quarters, but the second quarter got us. And we were playing catch up there the whole second half. And there's some things I should have done differently, which, I know better now. And but yeah, we're kind of up and down. That's where we are. We kind of control our destiny. We really do. It's what we do on the floor that's going to determine if we're going to win a game or not. And we're still learning that. We're still a young team. But I still like my team, and I like my chances going forward against anyone we have on our schedule.
AJ, I've commented to Coach Coulter on this show and on the court, before games, and when I'm talking about players with him, that you've been one of the ones that stood out. Myself and my wife, who runs the book for me while I'm calling the games, we've both noticed that you've kind of had a step up year this year, where last year maybe a little bit more tentative as a sophomore, as a junior. Now starting, it feels like you've really gotten comfortable in your role. What was the number one thing in the offseason that you were doing that you feel like has helped prepare you for being able to be a starter? And you're leading the team in 3-point percentage at 38%. I think you're second in scoring at 12 per game. All leaps for you from where you were last season. What would you attribute was the number one thing you took into the offseason of last year to get better for this year, where you can actually see the effects?
Really just staying in the gym. All off season, I was in the gym working with this trainer named Kayla. She's from CP3. Yeah. And I was just staying in the gym working. AAU season was also a good key to me getting better. And yeah, just staying in the gym, just getting shots up, going to the YMCA, getting like 100 shots or more.
Were you on the what's it called, Coach? The leg press or whatever it is. Were you on that like all summer? Because I feel like you're jumping higher. You're jumping higher than you were the past couple of years. And I've mentioned it before to Coach Coulter. I'm sorry, somebody's scraping the road outside my house right now. I was like, is AJ doing something different? Is he lifting weights? Like, what is happening? Is he doing a lot of jump rope? Because I see you kind of skying. Like, I mean, I remember back in high school, when I was able to jump that high. It's been a long time. Tell me what it feels like to see the improvement in your own physical ability from last year to this year. And then I kind of feel like you kind of hit a switch where you realize, oh, I can jump a little higher than I could last year. I'm a little quicker than I was last year. When did that kind of start to click in your head where you started putting things together?
So I think it's really the weight room that really made me like get really athletic, but I also like just the way I'm jumping in general. Like I have like a smooth, like a little technique to how I jump. It's like, like a Pinoy step, not a Pinoy step, but like, what I'm talking about. It's like
walk me through it. Walk me through this.
So it's like the last step you take is like the fastest step, and then it gets you higher. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So you've adjusted like
the way I jump.
Where you jump. Okay, I got you. So you maybe get more power off of both instead of just jumping one leg like a lot of folks do. So
yes, sir.
I've definitely noticed it for sure. And I think it's helped you overall in your overall jump shot game in terms of being able to get to that peak and be able to launch it. And to be able to contribute on the rebounding end too. I've noticed that you've been doing a lot of help on that end and defensively. Coach, talk to me a little bit about AJ and his improvement. We talked about him before, but with him being here to receive the flowers, tell me a little bit about what AJ's done from off season last year to this year and the improvement he's made.
I think the biggest thing for AJ is his confidence level has gone up tremendously. I think he saw early on this summer the potential that he had, and early in the season he had that success, and I think that success has really built his confidence. He knows with me that he can do whatever he wants out there. He can shoot the three, he can take it to the hole, he can do the mid-range shot, and he's averaging almost 13 points a game with 5 rebounds a game, 4 assists and 3 steals. That's an all-around player. And
that's a good line.
Yeah, and you can show it to him on the video. Then the video doesn't lie. Things on the film don't lie. And when he can see what he's doing out there, and I can show it to him, he starts to believe in himself more and more. And I think his confidence is really high right now. And he wants to win. He wants to go play basketball at the next level.
Sure.
And not only is he doing point wise, but he's doing it as a leader also.
We got Coach Coulter and AJ Wesley in the house here. It's the Nest East Forsyth basketball, brought to you by Game On Sports Pub in Kernersville. You got a tough task whenever you play this game. I don't know if it'll be the next game you play, but it is coming, and that's against 18-0 West Forsyth. And you guys are very familiar with West Forsyth. Matter of fact, you probably gave them their toughest game of the season so far in the Frank Spencer final that we had the pleasure of covering for Truth Network. We had it on the air over there. Talk to me a little about this West Forsyth team, because from what I remember from them, they're very deep, very long. They're in the passing lanes a lot, and they like to shoot the three. They got a freshman kid over there that's really good 3-point. You guys did a really good job containing him in that championship game. Some other guys kind of got off, and it was pretty tight all the way until towards the fourth quarter. They just slowly started to pull away. This West Forsyth team is ranked fairly high in the state. I'm about to go look up their thing in a second here. Tell me a little bit about West and your game. Well, not necessarily your game plan, but what do you think they do the best in terms of, now that you've played against them, what was the number one thing you're like, we got to take that away next time?
I mean, I said before, they play 32 minutes. They don't take any time off throughout the game, and they hit you with waves of pressure. And if you just have to handle the pressure, limit your mistakes, and when you have opportunities to score, you have to score. If you get a rebound, you got to go down and score. If you get a steal, you got to go down and score. And the first time we played them, I thought we played really well. Dom got in some foul trouble, I think, in the second quarter, so we had to sit him for a little bit. Overall, I thought we played tough. And I think our guys have got to have that mindset to do that again, in which I think they will. I think they look forward to playing them again. And whenever that might be, it might be Thursday or it might be next week. But, that's my job, and the coaching staff's job is to get them ready to play anybody, whoever we might have that night. But we're looking forward to playing.
And that's something that, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, good. When teams start to look for other teams, like, we can't wait till we play them again, as opposed to, oh, we got to go play them again. That's a different story altogether. AJ, tell me from the player standpoint, when you guys got a chance to play West Forsyth and to lose the Frank Spencer Classic, knowing you're going to see them again 2 more times in conference play, tell me a little bit in terms of how you think you guys match up against West, because I believe that was is that not the game, Coach, where you kind of trotted out that bigger front court?
Yeah, it was.
Mhm.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that, AJ, in terms of the way you guys match up with West Forsyth. And I'm looking up their rankings right now because I'm pretty sure they're ranked fairly high. They're number
I
10
feel
in the state right now, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if Dom didn't foul out, like or get into foul trouble, I feel like that would have been a different type of game. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would have been more neck and neck. And then also our bigs was doing really good on blocking them and grabbing rebounds, which gave us opportunities to score on the opposite end.
Mm.
So I feel like so I just need my bigs to continue to grab rebounds and block and Dom stay in the game, and I feel like we can beat them.
Yeah, and again, they're 18-0, ranked 10th all overall in the state of North Carolina, according to Max Preps. They're other than the private schools, Greensboro Day and Forsyth Country Day, they're the highest ranked local team in the triad that I can find. The next, actually, there's not another one in the top 25. So they seem to have pulled ahead of everyone else in the area, and of course they're in the CPC. Why not? So we get to see them a couple times during the year, but we love nothing better than to upset West Forsyth. And
Sure.
honestly, I think they gave some respect for you guys too during that game. I felt like they weren't expecting to be in a dogfight so late into that game the way they were. And your defense, the defense of the team, you guys defended the 3-point shot very well in that game. I do remember that. So that seems to be their bread and butter, like a lot of teams nowadays. Let me ask you this question, AJ, with you being from like the new school or whatnot. I'm an old school kind of guy. I just turned 48 last week. And so I'm from the mentality basketball wise, and Joe kind of is a little bit too, of playing inside out ball, where the whole point of it is to get it inside to the big man, 2-foot shot. You want the high percentage shot. You have not grown up in that world. You've grown up in a Steph Curry world where it's outside in, where they might kick it inside, but that's just for the inside guy to eventually kick it back out to an open shooter.
Right.
Have you gone about your game doing outside in terms of making sure your 3-pointers are tight? Do you practice mid-range? Because that feels like that's a part of the game that's kind of got lost in the shuffle, where now it feels like it's all either dunks or threes. How much do you actually practice mid-range, 10-footers, 12-footers, that kind of thing, to kind of flesh your game out to be a full player?
That's probably something I need to work on, my mid-range jump shot, because I'm so used to like getting a catch and shoot or off the dribble 3-ball. Sometimes I need to go in the mid-range and get an easy little bucket. And it also gives me paint touches and stuff so I can like hit my open shooters in the corner or something like that. So I feel like I gotta attack the basket and get to the mid-range more often. So I gotta work on that. Yeah. I don't really work.
Joe, your thoughts on the mid-range game in today's high school world? Because it almost feels like a unicorn when you see it now. If you see a kid that's just like Kawhi Leonard made his living, Michael Jordan made his career off of mid-range jumpers, basically, and doing other stuff too. But in terms of like that shot, it feels like it's almost become a lost art, where if you can master it, you kind of set yourself aside as a different kind of player in today's world of high school, college, and pro basketball, where it's just like the shot's been kind of ignored for some reason. What are your thoughts on the mid-range? And you see guys like AJ or Allen or any other guys that Akari, like that might, because I can see Akari definitely as one of those guys that would excel in the mid-range game the way his game is, just stop and pop kind of type stuff. What are your thoughts on the mid-range?
I think you're exactly right. The first thing I do when I start looking at other teams, I go straight to the 3-point percentage, and I'm looking to see what, who's shooting what from three, because it's the biggest part of the game right now. I think our guys, we as coaches have to work really hard to get these guys to look inside first, because obviously it's an easy shot. You get someone like Dom who's got a mismatch. We want him to have the ball. If you see his chest, give him the ball. And the best 3-point shot there is when it comes from inside back out, because you're set, your feet are set, you're looking at the basket, and it's hard to get these kids to understand that. But we work at it, in practice, and even our warm-up drill before our games. A lot of our shots are mid-range shots that we take during pregame. So it is extremely important, especially someone like AJ who has such a quick first step.
Right.
He can get by somebody. If he can perfect that mid-range shot, it's only going to make him even better and more dangerous.
I'm telling you, AJ, if you incorporate that into your game, from what I've seen so far, just that quick jump, that jab step that you have, where instead of just driving to the lane, let that guy fall back, like let the seat kind of like go out from underneath him and just pop that 10-footer. There's not a lot of kids really, and we deal with a lot of high schools in the area. There's not a lot of kids that really have that in their bag for some reason. But if you can incorporate that in there, you've got the speed and the size to really cause problems for the other team in terms of defensively, because a lot of kids don't know how to defend it because no one really does it, So
mid-range,
So they're expecting you to drive all the way to the cup or kick it out for three or wait for a 3-point shot. So if you can figure out a way to do that, it'll be on. Let me ask you, who's your favorite college team right now?
I would probably say Arizona. They're really good right now. They're like 20-0 or something like that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's safe. We're both
20 something.
Coach Coulter's a Duke fan, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Did you not see that game last night, AJ?
No, I ain't see it.
Duke obliterated Louisville. Like they just blew them off the mat. Duke, they're not going to go 18-0 in the ACC or anything like that because the ACC is actually a lot better this year than the past 5 years. But I think it's Duke, Carolina, Virginia, and then there's a tier of like Clemson, Miami,
Louisville.
They haven't been healthy really all year, so they're kind of hanging around. I'll tell you what, SMU with Boopie Miller, they are a problem. Like, and Boopie's. I feel bad for Wake that they couldn't hold on to him. But who's your favorite? Who do you model your? Well, not even who you model your game after, AJ. Who's your favorite basketball player currently right now? College, pro, whatever.
I would say AJ DeVancer. He's nice footwork wise. Yeah.
I think I've said him and Caleb Wilson are probably the top two. When it's all over with, they're going to be the top 2 picks of the draft because they both can do things that like Cameron Boozer can't do. Cameron Boozer, Coach Coulter, someone said it to me and I can't get it out of my head. He reminds me of a more athletic Tyler Hansbrough.
Yeah.
And now when I watch him, I'm like, I can't unsee it anymore because he's not like fluid like down there. He's kind of stiff. He does everything you want him to do. He's got a motor. Right. He can shoot. He can do all the things Tyler Hansbrough could do just 25 years later or whatever. And I don't know if I'd pick that number one, like to build my NBA team around. He'd be a good piece.
I agree.
AJ and Caleb Wilson, though, I can build an NBA team around them.
Yeah.
Like, can you picture Caleb Wilson in Charlotte right now? Like with the core they got going on? Like, that's a wrap pretty much because he can do everything they're missing right there. He can play 5.
I have a question for AJ. AJ, who's the best player to ever play basketball?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Good answer.
Yeah, because you're going to start an argument on the show. Why? That's actually unique because of how young you are. What do you
like? I looked at old films of him playing and it just looked crazy. And he was just able to do all of that stuff with ease too. Like, and he's very competitive. Him and Kobe have the same mentality.
Kobe got it from him. From him. Like that's literally Kobe is Jordan 2.0. Like Jordan, there's Jordan, and then Kobe is like the remix. Like he's kind of he was the closest to what Jordan was. He really kind of copied everything he did and just did a little bit different. And then I have LeBron, like because LeBron, as good as he is, longevity I think is going to be his main thing that he played for 21 years or whatever.
Right.
Do you think because LeBron's been playing as long as you've been alive?
Right.
Do you think LeBron stayed too long? Maybe a year too long because now it's almost that saying where stay long enough for the hero to turn a villain. It feels like it's starting to turn a little bit on him a little bit.
He's making himself look bad.
Like these clips I'm seeing where he's just not even bothering to run back on defense.
Yeah.
I can promise you this: AJ will be starting next game with all of his answers. So
good job, AJ. Yeah. Good job. You passed the test.
Yes, sir.
You think LeBron might have stayed a little too long, or because I think he's going to play one more year. Well,
he's playing again.
I think. I don't know. Well, the Lakers, that contract's over after this year, and the Lakers sound like they are done with him when this is over with. They didn't re-up him or anything. I'm seeing people say he should go back to Cleveland, but I think that bridge is probably completely burned by now. I don't know where else he would go. I don't know why
just retire.
Yeah, just retire. Like you got 4 rings. You're in the debate for best of all time. It's not a put down to be called the second greatest basketball player of all time. Some LeBron fans get like mad.
They get upset.
What do you mean he's second? Yeah, he's second. Really, in my mind, he's third. But
I think if he goes anywhere, he'll go somewhere where a team needs to sell a lot of tickets and make money.
Golden State, maybe.
Could be.
I can't see LeBron at Golden State.
I don't know. I can't really see him anywhere. Like, where do you go from the Lakers? You know what I mean? Like, where else would you go to where you would have the only reason why he would come back is if he thought he had a legit chance to win a ring, right? So who is that? Like, and he'd be 42. Like, Just stop, LeBron. Just
Honestly, at this point,
just go ahead and end it, man. You own all the records, like all the individual records, and people are still saying you're not the best of all time. To AJ's point, yes, Michael Jordan was different. He was. It's hard to explain, like sometimes to kids who can't like see it live, but back in the day, we could watch every Bulls game live because it was on WGN, and they played every Bulls game home and away. So you could watch Michael Jordan torch the Bucks for 50 points on a Tuesday night in December, like just randomly, just turn it on and here it is. And it was kind of must-see TV. Like, Joe, we were watching the Bulls in the 90s, like all the time. And the thing I think that they don't talk about enough with Jordan was his hang time. The reason why he's called. A lot of people think it's because of the shoes. No, the shoes got named that because of him. And what he was doing, he had the ability to kind of just
float in the air.
He would jump, and float. You come back down, he's still here, and then he goes do whatever. We would go outside and practice shots we saw him do the night before. I can't remember doing that with LeBron or anybody really. Like we would go outside and try to do whatever it was we saw Michael Jordan do the night before. He's just different. And it makes my heart feel better that you picked Mike. I know Coach Coulter is going to reward you for that. That's
absolutely
well done, chef's kiss. That's good.
Free sub from Jersey.
Free sub.
So before we get out of here, again, the schedule's kind of up in flux because you guys are supposed to play. Is that at West Forsyth or is that at home?
Yeah, it's at West.
That was supposed. So you're supposed to go out to Clemens Thursday at 8:00.
Okay. Yeah.
They just right before we came on the air, they just called school for remote learning for Wednesday in West Forsyth County. And I noticed from traveling around, the main roads are getting a little clear. Some of the main roads aren't, and most of the back roads are still just a sheet of ice. And I don't believe it's gotten warm enough where it's just going to disappear.
Yeah, it's been freezing the whole time.
It's been cold, and like you can't plow ice. You can plow snow, but it just runs across the front of ice, so it almost compacts it worse. So I don't know when you're going back to school, AJ. It might not be till March. I have no idea because it's supposed to snow again this weekend. So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and actually supposed to be snow coming this weekend. I think it starts Friday night through Sunday. So pull out them Chromebooks. You might be at home for a hot minute.
No Chromebook
flashbacks. Coach, how hard is it as we get you out of here? How hard is it to keep the team focused when you've got this going on out of your control, like with the weather and everything else in terms of disrupted practice times, disrupted games, things getting reshuffled around right when you're kind of starting to figure out, your rotations and grooves and everything, and players are settling in. Now you got this happening where you might not play for like a week or so. What do you do to make sure the kids stay motivated and engaged?
Well, like I said last time we did our show, AJ's a gym rat. Joe's a gym rat. Most of my kids are, and they'll find a way to go out and play. They'll get to a YMCA, and they'll be able to get on the floor and play a little bit and stay in shape. So I'm not worried about that. I think we've got guys when it's time to play, they'll be ready to play whenever we go back. We play Friday against Parkland, they'll be ready to play. And even next week, whoever, we get back on it next week. Doesn't matter how many days we have to play. Like I said, that's our job, get them ready. And I know they'll be ready to play. So I think the game against Reagan the game against Reagan opened some eyes to some things that we have to do to win and to be better. And I think we'll be ready to play.
So technically 6 games left on the schedule, all conference games at West, home versus Parkland Friday, and then 2 road games the following week at Reynolds, at Northwest Guilford. You follow that up the following week at home versus West Forsyth, and then the road against Reagan, and then the CPC tournament will happen. Do you know what school is hosting the CPC tournament this year?
It's going to be West.
Okay, so typically we do the CPC tournaments, the basketball and football one, or not football, basketball and baseball ones, depending on who's hosting it, if they got the space. I'm pretty sure West has the space, so we'll probably get with the athletic director, Coach Pennington, and set that up. Usually we do the semifinals and the finals, we'll do that. And then, of course, if you guys make the states, we'll follow you guys in the playoffs and go with you potentially on the road, if that gets down to that point. So we'll get you guys out of here. Again, follow us at Tobacco Radio on X and on our Facebook page for the latest updates in terms of rescheduling and what they're going to do with these games, because they're going to have to figure out a way to squeeze these in over the next couple of weeks in February. before we get to the conference tournament. And it's not just East; it's every school in the county trying to figure this out. So stick with us. We'll give you the latest on that. We should be back next week with another episode. Hell, Coach, we might be snowed in still, so we might be able to knock 3 or 4 of these out before you play again. So for Coach Coulter and AJ Wesley, good luck this season, AJ. I'll see you soon during the games or whatnot. But we'll get out of here. This is the Nest with East Forsyth basketball. We'll see you guys next week here on the East Forsyth